something as finding your passion? What's your passion? What's your passion? Find your passion. Such an overrated thing. Is there something as finding your passion? Is it a... What's your passion? Find your passion. Such an overrated thing. Is there something as finding your passion? Is it available in the market, shops, or can you just go and find it somewhere? No, it's within you. Now, the point is, how do you find it? You don't need to find it. You're doing a job, you're doing a work, you are at a workstation, or you're doing some task. Start loving it. Start getting involved into it. Start getting into the deeper science behind it. The minute you get an expertise in that area, it will become your passion, which means anything that you practice over a period of time and you develop your expertise in that will become your passion. So for me, finding passion is about practice, perseverance, and performing the task again and again. So, best wishes in finding your passion. Signing off.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. So, yes, we all know what are we looking at? Finding your passion, understanding your passion, discovering your passion. Not that simple as it sounds. And that is where we have got two amazing guests, Andrea and Oksana. Now, Andrea, she is a digital conversationalist. She helps people embracing social leadership with integrity and transforming the MNCs through the power of employee voices. Welcome, Andrea.
Hello, I'm so happy to be here, especially to talk about passion, a passion topic.
Now,
Oh, you've dropped your sound, dolls.
sorry, a technical glitch. So I'm saying, let me welcome Oksana, the leader at Speakers Tribe, the powerhouse, a energy, a woman who never stops smiling. There she is, Oksana. Welcome.
Hello, everyone. Lovely to see you all again. And what a beautiful, beautiful, evening for me talking about passion. I'm very passionate talking about passion. Yes. Lovely to see Sagar and Andrea.
Yeah, so brilliant. Now, these are three different continents coming together, talking about passion. Isn't that amazing? So let us start with a small understanding of what passion. I'm sure we all saw the video where the conversation started between me, Andrea, and Oksana on LinkedIn, and that conversation led us to this LinkedIn Live about discovering passion. Now, when we talk about passion, we hear the words emotion. We can hear the words enthusiasm. We can hear the words like the calling, so on and so forth. We sometimes also check and see, hey, isn't it your hobby? And then we also talk about feelings, emotions, and so on and so forth. Not dwelling too much into the confusions around the word passion, I would like to know from Andrea and Oksana, what does passion mean to you? Starting with Andrea and then Oksana. Over to you.
Well, so one of the original reasons we agreed to have this conversation is because Sagar obviously released his video where he was talking about passion. And in the work I do, I work with a lot of business leaders, employees of big companies. And one of the things that is not their passion is their work. And sometimes it is, but very rarely. So when you said you work hard, you get better at it, you develop your skills, and it turns into a passion, that was my, well, I think it's a lot deeper than that. So for me, when I was thinking of what is passion, like how would I define it? It's a strong feeling followed by an action. But then, of course, that's just the way I feel the word means. So I went and had a look at it. And it goes back to Greek times. But what I found really interesting when you're looking up the definition of the word passion is that it's also about suffering. So which is a really interesting take, because to really follow your true passions, it also means that you have to suffer at the same time. And so I'd love us to dig into that a little bit more. But passion is something that's deep within you. And it can be negative and it can be positive. It can be hatred and rage, or it can be love, So passion's very wide, right? But the important thing is, I think in a positive way, we identify what is that thing inside us that drives us to want to go out there in the world and create amazing change. And it can be something we're financially rewarded for or not, but it's something deep within us, but it's also action. So it's not just a word. It's not just something we say we are. It's something we need to be as well. There's my first attempt.
That's beautiful, Andrea. I absolutely agree with you. And I could say passion for me, as I said, passion, I'm passionate about passion, because all this conversation started with Sagar saying, oh, you just have to keep going and keep practicing and it will get, your passion will get there. I'm like, whoa, hang on a minute. I'm a nurse by profession, and I have to do lots of technical issues. Deal with lots of technical learning, lots of things, and to me, I can go over and over them again and be perfect, very professional, but does not mean passion for me. So I can be very professional in something and almost to the point of perfect. I'm recovering perfectionist, because perfectionism actually kills you if you're really a perfectionist, if you know what I'm talking about. But passion for me is, you will leave everything around and you will be so dedicated to it. You'll be so driven. It's that something ignites within you and you will follow it through. And yes, it is, Andrea, it's interesting how it comes with suffering, the word passion. Suffering and passion, I can see where it may be related, because being passionate about something, you have to go through the hurdles, you have to go through misunderstanding. And we can see people in life following their passion, and we're thinking they're crazy, walking around the world or doing their ultra marathons, and there's their passion. It's like, I would never do that. But for them, that's their passion. But first of all, you have to find your passion, what you're really, truly excited about. If someone just wakes up and says, Oksana, what is your passion? And I would say, oh my God, any time of the day, any time of the night, that's what I would love to do. And this to me is passion. If I think, do I want to do it? Do I not? This is not passion. For me, passion is, it's 100% your dedication to it, your drive, your ignite, your spark. It's just something extraordinary. And I think it also sits within us, in our heart and within our core values. And we really love doing it and love being. As you say, passion is being passionate, not just thinking about it, but actually doing it. But yes, I agree.
Oh, lovely. I mean, that was amazing insights. So that triggers me to one more point. We say passion is calling, passion is something that you love for, and passion also relates to pain, suffering. To all the viewers, do you know the word passion was also used in 1600th century, which was related to sufferings. The sufferings in Christianity which Jesus went through. So that's passion at that time. In 18th century, the word passion was linked with pleasure. In 2000 and in the 21st century, now we say this is a passion era, and we all talk about finding your passion. Now the question is, where is it lost? And where can you find it? Do you have a treasure map to find it? If not, my question again goes to Andrea and then followed to Oksana. What do you mean by finding your passion? The phrase that has, the reason I said overrated is because you will hear it everywhere. Find your passion, follow your passion. The point is, do you have a treasure map? If not, help us. What do you mean by finding your passion?
All right, I think the easiest way to explain it from my perspective is through me and how I finally found my passion, but I was in my 40s before I even got there, right? So I have so many different passions. And some people would say, well, they're not passions, but give me a chance, right? So going right back to the beginning, I've had a passion for humor, for history, for religion, from an intellectual understanding of trying to make sense of it, of why it, in the world. I have passions for the communities that I'm part of. I've got passions for people. So these are the young person passions, right? And then I go into adulthood, and I'm passionate about my profession, which is communication, because I love the idea of capturing information in a way and putting it out there in a way that's going to resonate with people. I follow the news, the world news. I want to know what's going on. I'm passionate about the climate and plastics and all of these different things, right? And then social media comes into the world, and I'm passionate about staying in touch with people I've met when I've lived and traveled all over the world. And so social media comes into the picture, and all of a sudden I've got tools where I can bring all of these pieces of me together, and I can go out there, and my passion, what I'm driven by today, is to help other people understand how they can own their voice and go out there and be a person of integrity and change the world through our voices on social media. The negative voices outweigh the positive. So that's like accumulation of lots and lots and lots of different things that I gradually put together over time, and technology advances as well. And I found my path to my passion. And it's to really, I'm here to make the world a better place. And I believe I can do it. When we were small, we all wanted to make the world a better place. And then we got older and we got a little bit cynical and we said we couldn't. Now we can. We've got these amazing tools. We can all have a voice. So for me, passion is all the different parts of you that sort of, that make your heart beat, that you feel it deeply. And it's a desire to create positive change. Like I said earlier, passion can also be very negative, so it's not. So that's where I think the passion conversation gets confused. And also there's so many different types of passion, and we don't honor all of the different types. So some people I meet, they're passionate about raising their children. That's their passion. And they're going to live their life, which is focused as a priority on their children and their family and their community. And that isn't necessarily as honored as somebody who's going out there chasing a professional passion. So there's a lot of different layers to passion. And I think the path is just working out all these things inside of you that make you feel strong emotions, positive and negative. And then it's about going out there and being a voice and representing those causes and being an active participator to make the changes that you want to see in the world. Quick and big topic. All right.
Andrea, this is absolutely beautiful. Thank you very much for sharing with us how you found your passion and how many layers of passion. We keep talking about layers of passion. And yes, you can't really put it to one word because I think passion is connected to our emotions. We have to really strongly feel it. Because if we don't have the strong feeling behind it, and I agree, it's positive, it has to be something positive, something enthusiastic, and also something that to make a difference. Because yes, there is negative passions in life. For example, I've been in my nursing career for over 25 years, and when I look into it, I'm very passionate to help people. And I guess that's why I end up being in a nursing career. But now, in the last 2 years, I found my passion, which is addition to my work, which is being involved with a Speakers Institute and being a Speakers Tribe leader as well, where I got surrounded by people who are motivated, they're inspired, they've got so much drive in them to make a difference. And we all can make a difference. I'm passionate about making positive changes and helping others, sharing my knowledge, what I know, and helping others as well to, to overcome. Like my passion is I'm talking about dealing with being overwhelmed, helping others, because in the caring professions we're all always being compassionate. Again, where passion comes into here. Compassionate, being passionate with someone, taking their emotions onto you, and but that's another whole evening of talking or a day. But as I say, yes, passion has to be emotions, and definitely how to find this passion. I would love to have a treasure map, but it doesn't exist, because passion for everyone is different. And I also think that finding your passion, maybe you haven't even found your passion yet, and how to find it. I think asking yourself questions, because no one can tell you what your passion is unless you really feel it. You have to feel it. I don't know how you call this area, where it comes from your gut feeling, your heart, from your body. Where do you feel it? In your spleen, in your liver? I don't know what it works for you, but for me, it's is that something inside, that sparkle, that's kind of drive. Something clicks in, and I'm really inspired, and I want to make a difference, and I want to do everything possible to help, and then go out and make a difference. So I believe to find your passion, you have to really ask yourself questions. What if there is nothing else stopping me in the world? What I would love to do that will, be very positive, very great, and I would love doing it every day of the week, day and night, with no, and enjoy it. What would you be doing? And when you ask this question, maybe you forgot your passion, maybe you lost your passion on the way. Maybe you've been too busy, doing your career or looking after kids, and they've grown up now. And suddenly you sit there and think, hang on a minute, my kids are grown up, my career is all, I've done it all, but what is my passion? So then you have to look inside and ask yourself questions, simply have a conversation with yourself and thinking, when the last time you felt joy, happiness, and what really brings you that, excitement, and what would you really love to do? And when you start thinking about it, like, yes, I love helping people, and, you're passionate about your, doing something really positive, and you can see the changes, and that inspires you even more. So I think that's what passion for me.
Yeah. The one thing I would add
Wow.
on the emotion front is, another way to find your passion is to recognize your own rage. Like if you are enraged about something. So for me, people treating people unequally, or treating people that they think are inferior to them because of their skin color or culture or religion or whatever like that, I feel this incredible rage against that injustice, right? So, and that's a passion for me. But if I go out there and rage at the world, people aren't going to listen to me. But I think identifying what your rage is and then working out the positive way to create the change is another way to really identify your passion.
Okay. I've just got goosebumps listening to both of you. I really had goosebumps. So
that's excellent.
That's lovely. So now, what can be summarized is passion is a Pandora box of emotions hidden within yourself. Deep dive within yourself to find it. No need to go outside. I'm just trying to, rephrase it in a.
I've lost your volume again.
Lost your voice.
Yeah, you're having some sound issues today, darling. All right, well, we can continue.
Yeah, I agree with you, Andrea. Is lots of negative. It could be when you feel very strongly against something, again, you reverse it and you look, yes, I'm passionate about equality. I'm passionate about, inclusivity. I'm passionate about being the connection and being togetherness, as I call oneness or togetherness. I just make words as I go. And I do believe strongly that it is very important when you feel that, as you say, strong something against it, that shows you that you are passionate about this not to happen. And this is also.
But I think
also
if you want to build a successful sort of profile or life or personal brand or whatever, if you want career, it's important to say, I have this rage against something, but you've got to work out a way. Like someone recently said to me, they wanted to write a book and it was going to be a book of rage. And I said, write the book in, because they were so frustrated by the situation. And I said, write the book in rage first and then flip it into positive. So if you do a manifesto, the advice is write the manifesto truthfully, which would have rage, but then spin it into positives, because we've all got to find whatever it is. Like everyone knows what they care about. I think the trouble is the step to turn it into the next phase, which is whether it's career, hobby, social leadership, bringing your voice, whatever. It's about saying, this is what I care about, because you know it, because it's a feeling in you. And then it's a case of, how do I then turn that into something that I can go out there and make a difference with, and take that action and build that life where it could be a side show or it could be the center of your life, and it's your choice that everyone gets to make, right? Are you back?
Hi, am I audible now?
Yes. I'm good.
Okay. So sorry for the technical glitch. And what I felt was that we were talking about emotions. We were talking about passion as a lot of emotions put into a Pandora's box, which comes out as enthusiasm, desires, hobby, pain, suffering, inspiration, enthusiasm to the fullest, and the calling from within. Now, the question here comes to both of you here is, does passion evolve, or do we grow with passion?
Do you want to go first?
I am not able to hear. Maybe my mic is playing a thing today.
So do you want to?
Yeah,
can you?
answer?
We can
So
hear you.
I'll repeat. Now I'll repeat the question. What I wanted to say is, do we evolve with passion? As if, let's say my passion was playing guitar when I was 13 years old. When I got married, I still love to play guitar. But that's not my passion anymore. My passion is shifted to, listening to saxophone or playing more of a rock band. And maybe when you go to 50, it's not the rock band because you're not able to hear and say. And then I might be able to, relate to a flute or something. So does passion evolve?
Hey. Stop criticizing 50-year-olds. We can still hear. And we still like our rock and roll. We were the ones that came from the era of rock and roll, remember?
I love rock and roll.
So the question is, does passion evolve?
I think it absolutely evolves. So music's a fantastic example. So my first career, I was a musician in the Australian Army. I played euphonium. I loved it. And then I just stopped loving it. And so the passion argument for me is a really interesting one. So my very first job was supposedly following my passion, and it actually destroyed my passion. So do we evolve? Yes, I do think we evolve. We evolve in so many ways. Well, some people don't evolve. I mean, some people sort of come into the world, into a community, and it's quite closed-minded, and whether or not they can release out of that and open their minds up, not everybody succeeds. But other things, I don't know. I mean, for me, the reason I quit music is because I wanted to travel, and I couldn't travel playing my instrument because it was too heavy to carry with me. So it really was something that had to go. It was an obligation that just took too much of my time. And while for 20 years I gave that time, I realized that I needed to do other things. So I think we're always growing and evolving, everybody. And also passions are changing. The world is changing. The crises we face are changing and becoming more urgent. So I think, you've definitely got to be open to sort of moving around. But I think the essence of your true passion for, I think for Oksana and me is the same. It's like, you know, we want to help other people thrive in the world, and we do it in different ways, but we're ultimately, that's our passion. You know, that's what we're out there trying to achieve, and that doesn't change.
Okay.
I
What's
say,
your take?
evolving, of course. The only constant thing in life is change. We all change. Everything's changed, as we all say, and agree. And, you know, I just want to say to you guys that whoever's listening to us, it's okay to change. It's normal. It's natural. We grow with change. We evolve ourselves. And yes, our passion does change as well. So as we all hear about examples and everything else, but sometimes also you could be a simple situation or an act where you can, you know, change your passion, because you could be walking on the ocean side somewhere on the beach, and you see a little bird wrapped in the plastic around that neck, and couldn't, you know, and something will click in you and say, hang on a minute, this plastic, like we all know, it's killing the planet. But something within you will just spark and think, oh my God, I need to do something about it. And it's also, and from then your passion will grow, because you might go into being environmental activist, or, you know, pioneer in something, or you're going to do campaign, or, you know, helping or doing your bit. And it's okay to change your passion. You might be playing guitar one day, and then, as I say, you go outside, or you want to travel and you can't bring your instruments with you, and you find different things, and you think, okay. And you meet sometimes friends who know you for like 20 years, and they say, oh, what happened to you doing that? I'm like, oh, forgot about that, because your passion, yes, passion, your passion change. And it's okay to change it. As long as, of course, you don't, you know, if you change your thing every week, that's not your passion. That's, I say one thing. Passion is something you will be striving to do, and you know, be doing actions towards it. It's not just thinking, I'm sitting here on a sofa thinking my passion would be this. No, it doesn't. It's that burning desire to, you know, to do, act, and, you know, change your passion. And it's okay to change it as well. So I think it's part of evolvement. I agree.
Okay. So while we get on for the next question, we are also live on YouTube, and I can see the chat here. People are asking, how can we connect to Andrea and Oksana? So for the YouTube viewers, if you can, you know, give a link or something where they can connect with you, or where they can find you, that will be awesome. So till the time you try to find the link and share it in the comments or in the chat, the next question that comes up is through this book. I'm sure we all
my God,
have.
I love Ikigai.
Yeah. So Ikigai talks about passion, mission, vocation, and profession, which means what you love to do, what the world needs, what can you be paid for, and what are you good at, which means using your expertise in the professional area for which you can be paid, so that you love doing what you do and the world needs it. So what's your thought about Ikigai and passion?
Can I just say, Sagar, could you share for people who don't know what Ikigai is? It's not one person. Ikigai is not a man. It's actually, can you share what it is? It's not a name. It's not a name of a person. It's actually, it comes from Japan, right? And it's a way of living. So it's a name in Japanese for a way of living. And Ikigai is probably finding your ultimate balance, I would say, your ultimate happiness. So yeah, it's beautiful, because you have to combine everything together, but make sure it's all works within and with you, and finding how you're gonna carry it on. Because sometimes being very passionate about something, you can be too compassionate and burn yourself out by trying to help others as well. So you have to find your balance. And I think Ikigai, the Japanese name of bringing balance within and finding your, help me out here, Sagar, finding your
It's basically
ultimate
passion.
happiness within, I would say,
Yeah,
and the way to live. I think it's a way to live, and
yeah,
Japanese is very good at it, to connect and to, nature, and have stillness in there, again, mindfulness, meditation, whoever practice whatever brings your life within, being active, but you also need stillness in life. So that's all talking about balance, because as we all know, we can go and straight head on into our passion, and we forget about everything else, and then we have all this, So yeah, I think finding balance, it's important, and Ikigai is the Japanese way of finding that ultimate happiness, I think. Is that, you agree with me, Sagara?
yeah. So it says, I think again, I have a mic issue. Yeah, now it's
We
sorted.
can hear
So
you.
it says only staying active will make you want live 100 years. So Ikigai is a way of life using passion, mission, the vocational life, and the professional life, which means you don't need to be blinded in finding your passion, but live your life to be passionate for.
Yeah. So I'm not as versed in Ikigai as you guys are. It's obviously something that comes up a lot. But one of the things I do in my social leadership courses is I work with technical sales leaders and C-level executives. And I remember one of the C-level executives, I do this 1-minute meditation, and it's a real reflection of, what do you want to do with your life? And when I followed up with him afterwards and said, how did you go with your meditation? What came up for you? And he goes, I realized I've wasted my whole life. And that's a really hard thing to hear, because, that's too many people. We go out there, we're raised to get jobs, and we see this more in Asia as well. You get a good education, you go to university, you get a good job, you provide for your family, and you march forward, right? And passion isn't part of that story, and a lot of people get burnt out. And I had this other situation with a technical sales leader in India, actually, and when he did the 1-minute meditation, he wrote a poem, and it was the first poem he'd written since the age of 12, and he was in about his 40s by this point, right?
Wow.
And he forgot that he could write poetry, and by admitting that, what he'd actually forgone is his natural creativity, which can be expressed in multiple ways, right? And he went straight down the software engineer path, and he followed that path, but he chopped off a really important creative part of himself. And that sort of eventually, I think, catches up to people. You can have a great job, and you can follow the path, and you can do what you're supposed to do, and have the right, and the ego sort of stuff, look at me, aren't I great? I'm a VP of this big company. But if you, in your heart and soul, you're not happy, or you're becoming too cynical, or life's wearing you down, or you just don't feel, you're not getting the joy out of life. Like, I always say to people, we've got to remember that life is worth loving. And every day we've got to love being alive and living to do the most we can to make, our lives better, our families' life better, and bigger communities, right? So I think so many people, they get lost along the way because there's this expectation that you get a job and you do this and you do that. But it can often sort of chop off this piece of passion, and over time you forget about you even had that talent. And today, whatever you do, all of the bits of you need to come together and be part of who you are in the world. You can still be a technical engineer, but it doesn't mean you have to lose that bit, because creativity in technology, if you sit down with a developer, a coder, and talk to them about it, and you hear their passion for what they do, they talk like a composer talks when they're composing a symphony, because it's a very creative process, right? And so creativity gets squashed out in the education system, especially in the Asia Pacific region. And I think if we could bring the creativity back in and show people how all of themselves can come and be present. We talk about the whole person comes to work today. It doesn't really. Everyone leaves bits of themselves at home, but we actually left bits of ourselves at home when we were young teenagers. when this other focus started coming in. So I think remembering who you are and all of the pieces of who you are, and then really paying attention to your emotions and what you care about, and then starting to build a life. It doesn't have to be like that. You certainly don't want to destroy what you've got in your life at the moment, but, you know, over time, really build a life of purpose and meaning, because that's where the true joy is.
I also want to say that a lot of really comes from a lot of cultural upbringing, expectations, and sometimes we live the dream we were not our dream. We were expected to do that, and it goes a lot through, you know, your upbringing, what's your family, what expectations of you, and you know, you have to be like a, you know, I know I come from Ukraine, and you know, you have to be a good girl, you have to, you know, get your education, you have to get everything right, and have to be perfect in every way, and once you're trying to achieve everything and being perfect, you actually lose yourself, because and then at the end of the day, you know, by your, you know, as I said, when usually it comes a bit later in life, we've already done this, that, and then we stop and think, I'm missing something. I've got a job, I've got family, I've got, you know, this, but I'm missing something there. That's where it's a good time to look in and thinking, what would bringing me joy? What I used to love doing, you know? And I think that's a really great idea to just ask yourself and think, you know, don't be afraid to find your passion, no matter how old you are. You know, you could hear stories of, you know, there's a lady there, 70 plus, and she's like traveling all over the world and doing all these crazy things. Good on her. Oh my God, you know, fantastic. You know, I want to be like, there is no age limit in finding your passion. There is no one tells you to stop. And of course, you know, you don't want to chuck everything away, but some people do have, you know, you do hear stories that they came so far and then they left everything and they're going to find their passion. I mean, this is of course extreme, but who are we to tell them what to do, right? So everyone, you know, you create your life. You create the life you want. So if you're sitting there unhappy and thinking you're missing something, no one's going to come and knock on your door and say, oh, excuse me, you know, shall I offer you a passion list and treasure map? It's not going to happen. You have to dig in, ask questions, and be brave. Be brave. Find out what ignites you. What, you know, what's your light in there? What lights you up? You know, that's the passion. And once you find that passion, you'll be the happiest person, because you think, oh my God, I'm enjoying it so much now. You know, yes, you can go to work and do things, but you're really looking forward to do something else, you know, in there, if that's not your job, because job goes for a reason. You know, there's some lucky people who do their jobs and then loving it. Yes, so it's true. So what my message is, don't be afraid, and it doesn't matter what age you are, where you come from, you still can find your passion, find what ignites you, what lights you up. So yeah, that's
awesome. So now that we have just 2 more minutes before we touch the mark of 40 minutes and the end of the show, you both can share 3 nuggets or 3 tips for the viewers as a request. What are the 3 things that you feel will help them finding their passion? Maybe 3 questions or 3 suggestions or 3 things, starting with Oksana and then to Andrea.
Okay, so I say, ask yourself a question. When the last time you felt happy, joyful, and very excited about something that really drives you? Ask yourself a question. That's number 1. For me, it's a question, first of all. And if you answer your question, yes, I love this, so this is great. So that's number 1. Number 2, to find your passion. I think if you're not sure what it is, try different things. See what's your I want to mention a little bit about your core values. What do you really care about? When you find what you really care about, that can direct you into finding your passion as well. You know, it may be negative emotion, which you can turn into positive as well. As we said, you know, you feeling passionate about something you don't like, that means you turn it into opposite, and you know, you want to pursue something, you know, on the other side. That's probably number 2. And number 3, you know, be brave, ignite it within. You know, don't be afraid of a change. Change is normal. We're okay to change. And when you find your passion, you'll find that joy, happiness, and I think it's wonderful. I think everyone should have a passion. So yeah, that's my 3 things.
All right. Now, Sagar didn't give us these questions beforehand, so I'm sitting here thinking, which is good. I like off the cuff. Okay, so I'm going to come at this from a really different perspective because I totally agree with what Oksana said. But the first thing is, you can never find your passion if you're sitting in a state of jealousy, resentment, cynicism, criticism of others, especially if there's people around you who are out there living their passion and you're one of those people who are ripping them down, because the reality is the only reason you're ripping them down is because you're not living the life that you want to lead. So, and we all need to be really, really well developed with our self-awareness skills. So when you find yourself criticizing other people, really ask yourself, are you criticizing them because of what they're doing, or are you criticizing them because you're resentful towards yourself for not living the life that you want to lead? And I think that's a really important thing that we all need to be asking ourselves now. So I've got no time for any of that sort of stuff. My husband gets a bit boring. If he wants to have a little bit of a bitch about somebody, I'm like, no, we don't do that. We're kind, be kind, right? So the first thing is really pay attention to that, because that's a bit of a sign of your own personal unhappiness. And then the next thing is really start tapping into those strong, strong feelings, like not small feelings, strong feelings. And like we said earlier, it can be rage as much as it can be love, right? And really start paying attention to what are they? What's the universal thing? Is it do you want to help people? Do you want to help the environment? When you pick up that bird on the beach wrapped in plastic, are you just going to say enough, right? And then then the next step is working out, so what can I do? And then go out there and be a voice. And that's what I teach with the work I do. Be a voice for what you care about. So is that 3? That was kind of 2.5. Yeah, but the easiest way you can start sharing your passion is through your voice on social media. The easiest way. And it's just about standing up for what you care most about and raising awareness, drawing people's attention to it. If you really, really care about something and you want to draw people's attention, use positive language, bring people with you. Remember, honey attracts the bees, right? And just go out there and just believe in the power of your voice to change things that you want to see changed. And which is driven by a deep passion, that's what's going to open the doors for you. So find your place to start. I think the easiest place to start is to really step into your voice on social media and be a social leader. So there's my 3. There you go.
Awesome. And thank you for, answering that question on the surprise, because the fun is when you speak without thinking, you speak from your heart. And that's the reason why I held this back. So thank you for speaking from your heart. It was amazing to have this conversation. And to everyone who is listening us from YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn, remember, search within, find it within yourself. And as Andrea said in the parting comment, use social media. Coming from the digital conversationalist, use social media to find your passion. If you don't know, just type in what you like it and you will find help. Be brave, be positive. Don't bitch. Have conversations and not arguments. Don't confront, and have a growth mindset. So signing off, thank you lots and lots, Oksana and Andrea. A big namaste to you from India and lots of love. Thank you for joining.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
So we just will be ending the live right now, and bye.